Welcome to another marvelous episode of CFB Nation, hosted by me, Lever KT, a.k.a. the governor of college football. And, of course, today with me we have Nino, a.k.a. the mayor of college football. Nino, how you doing, man? I feel like it's been so long, bro.
I know. It's been a while, but listen, we always got stuff going on. This thing called LIFE comes into play, and you got to do what you got to do, right? But I'm doing marvelous, just like you like to say, marvelous episode, marvelous night. I'm ready to talk all aspects of college football tonight. We got some nice things on the docket, and anytime me and you get in the booth to talk college football, it's a pleasure.
Absolutely, man. So let me make sure this link is up. Hey, Moon, give us a thumbs up if we're good to go. I never refreshed my my YouTube here. Okay, we good.
Are we live?
We're good. Yeah. We're live. We're good. My apologies. Went to my phone and I seen that the Draft Nerds thing was still up. I got nervous there for a second. So we got a nice slate to talk about with you all this evening. We're gonna talk about some coordinator hires, like we kind of always do on Mondays. Also talk about all things surrounding Bryce Young, whether it's the lofty quarterback comparisons, or, he just recently measured in at 5'10" and a half, I believe it was. So we're going to get into that. We're going to also get into some Power 5 quarterback battles. Some of the top schools that some of you will probably expect, and then other schools that you're going to probably be like, I didn't know that was coming. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the sensation, Julian Lewis. Nino, you ready, man?
Stay ready, in the words of Boomer.
I like that. So let's get into this first topic. Cincinnati hires Virginia Tech assistant Brad Glenn at offensive coordinator. Nino, tell us a little bit about Brad Glenn.
Brad Glenn, we always say when it gets late like this, you're going to go to your buddies, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, new coach Cincinnati, Scott Satterfield, has ties to Brad Glenn, whether it was at Appalachian State when they first met back in 05-06, or it was, later on down the road, they reunite again now in Cincinnati. But, Brad Glenn attended Clemson, so he's, big school guy. He knows what's going on. He's a veteran. He holds experience at Appalachian State where he was a QB coach. He was a tight end coach. He was also the wide receiver coach. So he's all around the offense. Then he transferred over to Western Carolina where he was assistant head coach and the quarterback coach. And then, this last stint was at Georgia State where he was the offensive coordinator and the QB coach. Now, like I said before, he met Satterfield at Appalachian State between 05 and 07. But, he knows how to win. Like, they're champions when he was on that squad at Appalachian State. It was Division, 1 AA. In 05, they were champions. And then 06 and 07, back-to-back FCS champions. So, my man knows how to win. His offensive score points. And like I said, when it comes late in these times, you get desperate. You just go to your boys, and you hope that they come through in the clutch. So what are your thoughts on the hiring, Brad Glenn hiring over in Cincinnati?
Well, I think the Luke Fickell effect in Cincinnati, what he brung there for so many years, as well as what his the person before him brung to Cincinnati. I just wonder if Satterfield and company be able to hold on to the lore of Cincinnati. Because, let's be honest, we had our debut live episode of CFB Nation, and a lot of people were not fans of that hire. They just weren't.
I agree.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on a little bit of Cincinnati stuff at the end of the show later on, but I think what you spoke about and what we're going to talk about, you can already start to see the product getting watered down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a knock to anybody, but what Fickell was bringing in there was elite level talent.
Yeah, it's hard to continue that. And then
Yes.
when do they move over? Because they're leaving the AAC, aren't they?
I believe it's next year.
Is it next year?
Oh, they could actually.
they leave
I
already?
corrected. I believe it's this year.
Yeah, I think
this season. It's this year. It's 4 teams enter. So yeah, this year is when it starts. This is the inauguration of them. Yeah.
So you consider that? You consider the move? You consider the change of coach? The late coordinator hire, like you say, when people hire coordinators this late, you go for what you know. So with all of that said, and it's not a knock to Glenn, it's not a knock to him at all, but with them changing conferences, getting, used to that process, boom, bringing in a new coordinator this late in the hiring process, it doesn't bode well. What do you think is a realistic outlook for the Bearcats?
Do I think it's a realistic outlook, or do I think the programs thinks they're realistic outlook? Because to me, the Satterfield hire.
Give us both.
Okay,
Give us both.
All right.
Yeah.
For me, 7 wins.
So bowl eligibility or bust, or bowl eligibility?
Oh, it has to be bowl eligibility or bust, considering what you've got for the last 3 years under Fickle. All right, it has to be. My problem is I said this on P2P with Boomer when it happened. I actually think I brought it up with you. Satterfield was a panic button move. That's what I feel. Like, Fickle left, and they said, "Oh no, we weren't expecting this. We'll go get this guy."
How?
You know what I mean?
How weren't they expecting this? Fickle name has been a name for the last couple of seasons. Before he even left the school, I brung up his name for a couple of other potential openings.
There's years on the contract, right? Mm-hmm. They think when a guy gives them their word that there's their dude, right? He continues to build the program. He continued to recruit. He continued to recruit to the day he signed away to go to the next school.
This is college football. Your word don't mean nothing.
I agree, but you have to understand the gullibility of these programs, because when it's good, you don't want to see the bad. You just hope everything stays riding the gravy train. Well, guess what? You hit a pothole, and that tire got flat.
Yeah.
They weren't ready. And they didn't have a spare in the bank. So they had to call AAA, and AAA was called Scott Satterfield.
So you say 7 wins, 5 losses.
If they don't get bowl eligibility.
As a program, you're comfortable with that. And those are also
I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay,
it's a step back. Okay, it's a step back, especially being the first year in a new conference. But you got to. If you're gonna fall, you can't fall far. You got to at least make a bowl. You got to be, or not, maybe not make the bowl, but have the option to be eligible. He does less than 6. He's gone. 1 year. See you later.
1 year. He's gone.
He's got a sour record coming in, right? He's not the most winning coach on the market. So,
wow. Moving right along. Let's go down to Gainesville. Florida Gators lose defensive coordinator Patrick Toney to the NFL. They went ahead and hired Austin Armstrong. Tell everybody what you know about Armstrong.
Oh, the nasty bunch is all I want to tell you about with Armstrong. All right, he's 29. He's the youngest P5 DC in college football. That's it. That right there should jump off the page of you like a neon sign. He's 29, right? He's going to a big name school, top program. And he's the youngest P5 DC. That matters. These young boys are coming up, and you have to have promise for them to scoop you and plug you in. I know it's late, and like we said, you go with what you know, but the Gators didn't go with what they know. The Gators went with either a home run or we're gonna strike out. They went for the big boy, the upside, the high ceiling. I guess the Anthony Richardson, right? So. This is what they did. They took this young 29-year-old DC, they put him in. But his record at Southern Miss, he took that defense from 60th to 49th 1 year, right? They went from 3-9 to 7-6 in his first year. Right?
That's a big jump. People might not recognize it because they might not, understand football in the magnitude that we understand football. That's a big jump. That's a huge jump.
To solidify your defense, 11 spots nationally, that's big. 4 wins in a 1 year turnaround, that's big, all right? Armstrong also has a little bit of ties to Billy Napier. He worked him as a grad assistant for the Raging Cajuns in 2018, right? He's 29. He spent the last 2 seasons as the defense coordinator and the inside linebackers coach at Southern Miss. But his defense was so nasty that they literally nicknamed the Nasty Bunch. I didn't pull that out of the sky. That is the nickname for that defense, okay? During the whole tension, they were 6th in the Sun Belt in defensive scoring. They only allowed 23.5 points a game, right? That was a mock that ranked 45th nationally. Or out of 132 teams, they ranked 45th, okay? The Golden Eagles were 3rd nationally in tackles for loss per game at 8.3. You understand that? 8.3 tackles for loss. His defense eats in the backfield. They live there. Give them the beach chair. They're posting up. They're going to get you. They're chilling. They're there all the time. They were 5th in sacks per game, 3.38 sacks per game, right? And they were 7th in interceptions on the year with 17. They were also 3rd in 4th down conversion defensively. They allowed 23% on the year. You want a dude, like, you want to talk about, I think he hit a home run this late in the season? Double A's coming up swinging like Barry Bonds. He's pointing. He came up pointing like it's Major League. This is my shot, and I'm going for the fences, bro. Austin Armstrong, I think, is a huge get for the Florida Gators.
All right, so here are my concerns, and I'm gonna lay them all out for you. So there's a lot of times in college football and college basketball alike, you have coaches that drew interest from the higher leagues, from the professional leagues, from the NFL and NBA. And a lot of times those coaches did not make that jump because they felt like, one, they were comfortable where they are, and two, that they had more control. Like there was more order because in the NFL these players got lump sums of money. Well, enter 2020, enter NIL. Now these players are making money, and they're young, and they're already big man on campus, so they were already wild. Okay, you add the money aspect to it. Some of them are even, it's not everyone. Some of them are even more wild. So as a 29-year-old coach, how do you come in? How do you gain? He'll be able to probably get some buy-in with him because he'll be able to be relatable because he's younger. But how do you get the attention? How do you command the respect and command that leadership that it takes to run a organization like that?
29 years old. You had a defense ranked 45th nationally out of Southern Mississippi, okay? You, at 29 years old, you commanded a whole squad of young men to lock down and only allow 23.5. It's not like he's coming out of high school and doing this, right? I understand that the conferences are different, right? But he controlled 11 young men, maybe 17 if they were rotational players in and out.
Right.
That go from 60th to 49th in a single season. Your defense, they had to buy in. Something there was bought in. Whatever he's selling, I don't know if he can sell a cherry popsicle to a lady in white gloves, but whatever he's selling, these people are eating and buying up. These kids ate it up at Southern Miss. I think these kids in Florida are going to eat it up because they're losing a QB, right? So when the main focal part of your team is gone, you turn to the defense to allow less points so that the inexperienced QB coming in has time. This is a huge get at this time in the season for the Gators.
I think the time is the most important piece of this. Like you said, we've had, 105 last time I checked. We're probably around 108 coordinators hired, during this coaching carousel, and it's beyond the premier period of it. But I guess my concern is, okay, we seen him do it at Southern Miss. Can you do it in Gainesville? Because it's levels to it. Like, small towns near Moon, where I live at, may be more city. But compared to Boston, this is country. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
100%.
It's levels to it. So, but
there's levels to it. I need Austin Armstrong got to be pushing P. All right, we need some pushing P out here. You got to get these guys to be pushing P.
I agree 100%. So let's move on to this next topic. We about to get a little controversial here. So
time out. I'm just gonna read something before we dive in.
Go ahead, do your thing.
245 out of 380. 64.5% completion. 3,328 yards. 8.8 yards per attempt. 32 touchdowns. 5 picks. 49 attempts. 185 yards rushing. 4 touchdowns. Exhibit A. Exhibit B. 260 completions out of 370 attempts. 69% completion.
That's up.
4,361 yards.
That's up.
11.6 yards per attempt.
That's 3 more yards.
42 touchdowns. 7 interceptions. 140 attempts on the ground for 1,001 yards. 7.2 yards per carry and 12 touchdowns on the ground.
That's
who
over
you taking?
10 more yards. B.
That's Kyler Murray. Exhibit A was Bryce Young. When Kyler Murray came into this draft from OU, I understand it's Big 12 and SEC. I get that, okay? But the numbers are drastically different. The 5'10" thing was the make or break for Kyler Murray. If his hair didn't make him 5'10", he was not getting drafted in the first round. You understand? Like, it was like the biggest thing going. This was going to be. There's no quarterback ever at under 5'10". That was going in for Bryce Young, and it was cool, calm, like a cucumber. It wasn't a big thing. And then he measured at 5'10 and a half. The problem I have, he's 194 pounds. He is Devontae Smith throwing a football. Kyler Murray may be a half-inch shorter, but he has like 8 pounds of muscle more than Bryce Young. It's a different beast. Yet he slides. Why?
Did you think he was 6 feet prior to this? Because I heard some people say he didn't look 6 feet.
If you go on every college football stat, if you go to Alabama, that says 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere.
They
talk about how SMU inflated Rashee Rice at 6'2", and he measured at 6, right? Mm-hmm. Alabama fluffed it too for a reason. My problem is all the comps, you can throw them out the window. This latest Drew Brees comp, stop. Just stop, okay? Enough. He has the ability to deliver the accurate tight window throws. We've seen it on all levels of the field, right? We've seen that. He can work the intermediate and deep parts of the field, and he has a great football IQ. My main concern is he a schemed fit quarterback, and can he withstand the pressure and bumps and bruises at 5'10", 194 in the NFL for 16 games? That is my big question mark. Obviously, Kyler Murray couldn't do it, and he's got 8 pounds more.
Yeah, he couldn't.
So, what do you feel here? Because I feel that there's issues that people are just kind of letting it slide, and they're comparing them to all the GOATs, and I don't get it.
The weird thing is, and I guess it just shows how much of a size difference it is between the NFL and collegiate football. But when I look at Kyler Murray on tape, he looks extremely short, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think
it's the stockiness.
And that's probably part of it. When I look at Bryce Young, I could tell whether he was 6 feet or not. But when I heard he was 5'10", I said, what? He's the same height as Kyler Murray? And like you said, it's like nobody is saying anything. I think because people are in love with the person. They're in love with the kid. He's a great kid.
Alabama.
Alabama
if Bryce Young played for Oklahoma State and put up all these numbers and won a Heisman, would it be the same?
No, it wouldn't be. it wouldn't be at all. Because when Spencer Sanders was playing lights out, nobody talked about it. Nobody cared.
Thank you. But you have Nick Saban there. You got the Crimson Tide behind you. You're a top school. You're always there. If you're not there, something's wrong, right? And the kid's got talent. I'm not making it seem like he's a chump. But the concern that was for Kyler Murray, that concern doesn't seem to be there for Bryce Young.
And that's legitimate.
Devontae Smith is the exact same size, right?
Yes.
Devontae Smith plays bigger as a wide receiver. This is to quote my dude coach. He plays bigger as a wide receiver, even though he knows he's small. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah,
like he knows he has to play big at the 5'10". Well, I don't know many quarterbacks that can play bigger than 5'10" if they're 5'10". Right? How does that work? Kyler Murray tried to play bigger than 5'10", and he makes about 10 games a year.
Yeah. And then you don't know what you're going to get out of him after Call of Duty comes out.
Yes, and then they keep saying this Bryce Young, the mobility factor. 185 yards makes him mobile?
We've seen flashes of it, I
saw one game where he went for 100 yards. So that means he went for 100. And that was a fact, right? That means the other 11 games he had 85 yards. Go away. Stop this baloney.
Yeah, I think we think of the Texas game, how poorly Alabama played in a game they had no business winning, and then he was able to come out, get the scramble that everybody likes to talk about. So I think that's where we at. So right now, I'm gonna flip the script on you real quick. Him not really performing at the combine, does that hurt? Does it hurt his stock? Does it help his stock, or does his stock stay the same regardless?
For some reason, right? Like I said to you in the green room, the main thing that his concern was that started to bubble last, I'd say Friday, like over the weekend was the height, right? That was when it started the concern all of a sudden.
Mel Kiper, Todd McShay. It's they knew They must
That
have
was
seen
in
him
the
in
pocket,
person.
bro. They saved that.
Do you
stuff.
think so? They knew
Yeah,
that
they
he
saved
wasn't
that
6 feet.
issue to now. They want the clicks. They're not stupid. They've been doing it for 20 years, right? So that was always the issue. They learned from the Kyler Murray thing. All right, we saw this guy. We're gonna
drag this out.
Yeah, hit it. We're gonna hit him right on prime time. That weekend before the combine, we're gonna drop this. Is Bryce Young too small? Right? So they dropped it, and it is what it is. But like, why in my gut do I feel this is planned? Like, I'm going to let the buzz go, right? Oh, I measured at 5'10 and a half. So I'm over the hump, right? I'm not on the 5'10. I won't be the first quarterback.
Right.
That was the main thing. He did the measurements, right? He's going to do the interviews. And then all this is going to kind of rumble for a little bit. While everybody else's combine buzz starts to fall off, what's going to happen? Bryce Young's pro day is going to happen. And he's going to go, wow, the darling Bryce Young, because he's the only guy that they're out of the quarterbacks that they're showing on TV.
I can't stand pro days. They're scripted.
But, hey,
I can't
it
stand
is scripted,
them.
and they are throwing with nobody in front of them. There is no pressure. They are in mesh shorts. They are not in pads. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's rehearsrsed.
I don't care if it's rehearsed or not. You still got to catch the ball. You still got to make the throw. You know what I mean? Like, but there's no pressure. There's no 315-pound lineman breathing down your neck.
Stats for a report. Like, oh yeah, he went 22 or 24. He's supposed to go 22 or 24.
Yeah. Did he go 22 or 24 when there was a guy in his face eating his helmet?
Right.
Well, that's what I want to know.
Right.
You know? We watch stuff like that happen, right? And I'm not knocking Zach Wilson. But you watch Zach Wilson become the Mormon Patrick Mahomes off one rollout throw, right? Like, we gotta stop doing this.
I remember when Wilson came out, he was drawing Aaron Rodgers comparisons. And I remember telling Mona back me up. They can't see him, but we can see him because he's in the green room. I was not a fan. I was not a fan at all. Like, I'm arguing with people like, bro, I just don't see it. But I'm wrong more than I'm right because, you know, till this day.
I am too. I went 4 for 14 in bathroom boards with Coach, so I'm wrong more than I'm right too.
Come on, man. Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell, I thought Jamarcus Russell was gonna be a dog, bro.
I thought Ryan Leaf was gonna be the man.
Yeah, me too. I thought he's better than Peyton. I ain't gonna lie. I can say that on TV. But
he might have been smarter than Payne and just went down and he was smarter at being a thug at the time.
Yeah, he was.
You know what I mean? He changed his life around and
he did. Shout out to him. I seen him on something the other day. So shout
he was talking about Russell Wilson. That was the
he
thing,
was.
Bro. Like,
he was.
He was talking about. I never knew this.
Me either.
I was talking to Jared about how it was crazy that Russell Wilson had a dude who passed away recently, right? He's a mindset trainer. That's what Ryan Leaf said. He trains you to you don't even acknowledge that negativity is in the realm of your existence, okay? And that is why Russell Wilson said, Broncos country, let's ride. He never let it get low. He never let his mantra or his mindset get to a negative place. Well, that dude died when he got traded, right before he got traded, the end of Seattle's last year in Seattle to when he got traded to Denver. I'm not using that excuse.
It's great insight.
Makes a little bit of sense, right?
It does. It makes a lot of sense. So we'll talk about Bryce Young. We're gonna move on. Actually, no. I got one more question for Nino before we move on. Nino,
hit me.
Who's the best quarterback in the 2023 NFL draft?
CJ Stroud. And that takes a lot for me to say.
You said CJ Stroud over your guy, Will Levis.
Right now, yes. For the higher ceiling, see, that's the thing, right? And this is the thing that I finally heard someone say. It happened to be Ray GQ, okay? He said, Stroud and Young are 99.9%, right? Nobody's 100. Yeah, Ryan Leaf was 99.9, and we see what happened.
Right, for sure.
They're going to come in and just roll. Everything's going to go, no problems. That Will Levis and Anthony Richardson are both the two guys who have the highest ceiling, but yet the lowest floor. Right? But if you're just if you're going for the ceiling, which most people are when they draft a quarterback, then you draft a guy with the higher ceiling because even if you drafted an average quarterback, in 2 years you're drafting another one. So why not draft a guy with the highest ceiling? And if he's anything above average, then you won.
Ooh, I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that a lot. Yeah, I think Anthony Richardson will be the number one quarterback drafted. He probably will be the number one player drafted.
I think there's going to be a big trade.
Yeah.
And
with who?
That's going to sway everything.
Yeah.
It has to be Chicago. Chicago's got to come out of that spot.
Yeah.
Unless they're trading Fields.
Yeah, I was about to say, I meant from a standpoint of who's going to move up and make that play. Because if you think Richardson's going to run a 40, because a lot of times, we see.
They said today that Tom Pelissero said Richardson is doing every drill.
Do you know
him and Will Levis are doing every drill?
Will Levis is too? Because
Yep.
I think Will Levis 40 time going to be better than people think. What you think AR is going to run in a 40 before we move on? I think he's going to blaze. I think he's going to
blaze. 4.45?
I think I like that. I like that.
4.5?
I like that.
Sub 4.5, he got to climb. And I'm not an AR fan.
Yeah.
Man, with the way NFL's going, if you sub 4.5 as a QB at 215, boy.
I think he might run like a 4. I was thinking maybe like a 4.43 or 4.44. I think he's going to blaze. If he does
that, it's a wrap.
I think he's going to blaze.
You're going to see people drooling at the combine.
Like the fact that they're doing all the drills, the same thing with Will Levis though. Like I think he has the same thing. I think either one of them are going to be.
If Will Levis runs a 4.5 mid and it's 4.55 or under,
bruh,
don't go on Twitter for the next 3 days because I'm going to kill everybody.
Bruh. I'm trying to tell you because you've been planning this for a long time.
So
people don't know, and I'm gonna clip up. I'm gonna call out of work. I'm like, Nino's been on this since day one. I'm pressing buttons all day.
And if he gets drafted before Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, please, I'm telling you now, mute me.
Mute you.
Mute me. Block me. I am going to ride this.
I'm trying to tell you, Will Levis or Anthony Richardson will be the first quarterback taken in the NFL draft. People,
what if
whether
Will
you
Levis
like it
and
or
Anthony Richardson are taken before Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud?
It just tell you what time the times we're in. The time, like you said, like I never thought about it. Like some organizations really don't care. They would rather.
We see it all the time, right? You get a quarterback, 3 years. Next year's the end of his rookie deal. We'll draft another one.
Right. I think.
Put the heat on him.
Two things happen. Two big things happen, and they both happen in the same draft. Josh Allen going to the Bills, right? Raw. You look at some of his college tape, it's god-awful. You look at some of his first 2 years tape, it is awful.
56% completion percentage? Come on.
Right. Then comes this guy named Jordan Palmer who just fixes everything. And I was happy to hear that Clayton Tune is working with Jordan Palmer as we speak. But that's besides the point. Lamar Jackson gets drafted by the Ravens. Same draft. Those two things happen. This is why we are in the times we are in now. Because those two things happen in the same draft.
Yep.
All right. Let's get to these P5 quarterback battles. I know Nino is excited about this. So I'm going to let Nino go ahead bring in this segment, man. Let's get it. I'm excited.
You want to start with the champs?
Yeah.
When have you ever seen, right? It's been a long time for me. I've watched college football a while. I haven't been as into it as I have been in the last year and a half, but I've been watching it for a while. Going back to Reggie, the whole rigmarole, right? When has the returning champ, back-to-back champion, had a quarterback battle with dudes who have no experience?
It doesn't happen.
And they're all 4 and 5 stars. Wild, right? So right off the bat, I'm going to start out with the big fella, Carson Beck, 6'4", 226 pounds. He's a 4-star. He's your classic pro-style quarterback build, right? Got that fairy tale prototypical QB. He's tall. But he's an in the pocket passer. So that's what Georgia really kind of likes, right? Stetson was your in the pocket passer. He ran when he needed to, right? But he wasn't dual threat.
Nah, he's not dual threat. He was mobile enough.
That's fine. He's an anticipatory thrower, right? He has the ability to change speeds. He can throw off any platform and any manipulated arm angle. Now, I'm not saying he's throwing like Josh Allen, but you don't have to be over the top to be accurate.
All right.
He's got elite processing. He goes to progressions well. He's willing to take those risks, and he has that fire underneath him. He's that competitor, okay? Next off the bat is Mr. Vandegrift. That's Brock Vandegrift, 6'3", 205 pounds. My man got all 5 stars, right? He's fully.
He said he got all 5 stars.
Boom, 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 boom. He got them all. He's like Sonic collecting them rings. So he also possesses, that prototypical physical specimen at the QB spot, 6'3", 205. He's 19, going to be 20, I think, at the start of the year. Good functional athlete in the field. His numbers test well out of high school. 4.69, 40. That's not bad, right? For a QB. 4.4 shuttle as a sophomore. That's pretty good. He's late on his feet. He's good in the pocket. He resets and sets quick. He's got amnesia. He forgets the bad throw, forgets the mistake. It's like instant. Okay, next play didn't happen. Let's keep going. He's obviously a pass-first QB. He has athleticism, but another guy that isn't dual threat, right? He just can buy time and scramble to get you a first down. The last gentleman on the dock for the Bulldogs is Gunnar Stockton, 6'1", 220. He built like a brick house, all right? Average height for the position, but he's stocky and solid. He's a better athlete, probably than the other two gentlemen total. He's able to make plays in the pocket, and when the line breaks down, he can use his feet and he feels the presence. He's not like my guy Will Levis multiple times this year where he didn't even feel the pressure coming off the edge and got destroyed. This gentleman, he's aware of the pressure at all times. Does a good job keeping his eyes downfield, and he can manipulate throws like C.J. Stroud, where he can, just kind of use his eyes or his hands really quickly to change the direction of the wide receiver. He's got a quick release. He's able to process his first reads and get through progressions very quickly. Threw for 4,700 yards, 71 touchdowns as a junior in high school. So the kid's got the skills. I'm gonna do a little research to see who's winning, who they think is going to be.
Yeah, I was about to say who is currently winning.
It's really kind of like even Steven. I would think at this moment what I see is Beck might have like a slight edge, but nothing is locked in at all. I think I like Stockton personally because I think he's your bigger. He's not a bigger quarterback, but he's your best bet at having a dual threat. He can run more of outside of just extending a play.
So there's a few things to consider here. The first thing we need to consider is that Todd Monken has moved on. He's with the Ravens organization. So the playbook is going to slightly change. The second thing is Kirby Smart is the type of guy, and I think the reason why Stetson Bennett won that quarterback battle over JT Daniels, even though he was injured, but I don't think Daniels was ever getting that spot back, was because that his teammates.
He didn't lose it though because of bad play.
No, he did. That's
my
fair.
problem. Look at Geno Smith, right? Geno Smith lost his job because he got sucker punched in the jaw and wired his jaw shut, right?
Right.
And he still had the skills. He did it for Seattle. So that was my beef. But then Daniels went to like two other schools.
It was the same thing. Jameis Winston was saying this year. He was like, it's an unwritten rule that you don't lose your job.
I agree.
From an injury. So I think with Kirby Smart, you look at him, I think a couple things would matter. One, Mike Bobo's offense, I think, is a little bit more teetered towards a quarterback that can run. There we look. Yes. Nino already knew what I was saying, so I think that's where your guy Stockton may have an edge. And I thought you answered that beautifully. That was my answer as well, just because I know what Mike Bobo likes to do offensively. It's going to look differently from Todd Monken, but at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing is going to come down to, do your teammates respect you? We know one thing for sure is that Georgia's going to bring a defense. They're
not all going to be there, right? There's when they name a starter, one of these gentlemen is out.
Right. It's that simple, and that is why they have the second transfer portal period. This is why right there, because players think they're going to win the job, they don't win a job. Well, let me see if I can get a job elsewhere. So that's why that's there. So I think we're both in agreement. Stockton should win this. Or is could a better word?
It should with the parentheses C right outside of the S.
Yeah.
Like you take it however you want it.
I really want to hear what Moon has to say about this. I'm sure he's in the chat. I wonder who he thinks is going to win this quarterback battle. Let's get into the next one, though, Nino.
All right, you want to go? I got plenty on it. I'm going to talk about a couple battles that we're not going to break down. I'm just going to talk about the battles, and then we'll get into a couple battles.
I like that.
I wasn't aware, but I spoke to you about it earlier. Cincinnati Bearcats have a little bit of a QB battle going on between Ben Bryant and recently transferred over Emory Jones.
That one caught me off guard because I feel like I'm on 3. Like you think I work for On 3 as much as I'm on 3. and you told me that, I'm like, what?
So
how did I miss that?
Ben Bryant wasn't anything special last year. Okay,
agreed.
And he's losing 2 receivers, Trey Turner, and the other gentleman who's probably going to be top 15 wide receiver pick. I think it's Scott.
He's fast, yeah.
Yeah, he's fast. He plays well in the slot. Yeah. He's good. So they're losing two.
He may be the fastest wide receiver in the 40. He's gonna be up there.
No, come on. Tank Dell gonna beat him.
And you confusing this with this. There's a big difference. Barry Sanders could do this. Prime could do this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I got you. Each person got their own pocket. You stay in your pocket. I got you. All right. So with losing receivers, right? And I'm doing a lot of college diving in as we go. Like everything's changing, so like I don't know
hardest
the
working
depth
man in
chart.
showbiz, man. You
For the
gotta
Bearcats,
understand, he's not wired right, man. I promise you, he's not wired right.
Right here, you know what I mean? It's in
it
the
gives
blood.
you wings.
Yeah, it does. I fly around all day. But I don't know what they got at wide receiver, but I know they're taking a drop off. So
Yeah.
I feel that bringing Emory Jones in was their way of possibly moving on to a mobile guy, staying in the running game a little more, and having that mobile quarterback. I don't know. Right now, there's no word on who's got the upper hand.
Can I be frank?
Sure, you can be Jack, John, if you want. You can.
All right, so and I need people in the audience to chime in as well. When does a quarterback in the transfer portal become Tate Martell? When does that happen? Like, is Keaton Slovis and JT Daniels already there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's there, too.
Is
Jones is right there.
Yeah, because this is his, third school?
This is his third school in 3 years. JT Daniels is 3 schools in 3 years. When Jackson Dot transfers and he loses the job to Spencer Sanders, it'll be third school in 3 years. It's just the way it is. These guys, it's the new. This is the new, right? They open up the doors to the portal. They plugged in the door stop in it. They said, we ain't closing these doors.
Hey, Mo, get this dude, man. Tell him to stop, bro. Tell him they know to stop, Mo. Tell him to stop, bro. But you're right. You're 100% correct. But continue, yeah, because Emory Jones, I like the player. I shouldn't compare it to the Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler situation, but it just felt like everybody was just waiting for Anthony Richardson. Like, before I was even big on Anthony Richardson, shout out to my guy Bradley Gold. I know Moon knew where I was about to go with that one. He was all, my man, Anthony Richardson. Like, he just kept talking about him, bro. I'm like you should have seen him after the Utah game. Like, I told y'all. Like, he's a big Anthony Richardson fan.
So, listen, I seen a play that Anthony Richardson did in high school as a receiver. It was the Odell before, like right after Odell, but it was as high school. All right? I was aware of Anthony Richardson, and now that play circle around, I was aware of his athleticism. I don't knock the kid. I think his athleticism is through the roof. And everybody, the 60%, yes, 3 quarterbacks in the last 5 years have gone from college football at under 60% completion and have turned out to be studs, okay? That's fine. 3 out of 3,000. Those 3 gentlemen are outliers.
Dak Prescott, who was it?
Yep.
Who was the last one?
What's his face? I just had this conversation with Matt. Shout out Matt for his new draft show, by the way. I forget. I can't think of his name. It was Justin Herbert with 63%. There's one more gentleman, but there was three guys, right? So 3 out of 300. They're still the outliers.
Right.
We got to stop putting the outliers as the average.
Right,
It's
right.
not.
It's not.
I'm gonna go and say that Emory Jones is closer to Jeff Sims than he is to Anthony Richardson. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Was he wrongfully benched?
Emory Jones?
Yeah, at Florida. Was he wrongfully benched?
Can you be wrongfully benched when the product you put out hasn't been anything more than average? Anywhere you've been?
Yeah. That's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
He's been average. To me, he's a jag. Just another guy. They're everywhere, right? They're everywhere in college football. There's jags everywhere. You ain't got to be from Jacksonville to be a jag. So, I'm on one tonight.
I'm about to say, Nino came with the smoke, man.
Let's, I got a little ties to this one because this gentleman here I speak to, and he's a good man. So I'm gonna go to Ohio State. We're gonna talk Kyle McCord versus Devin Brown.
You know how I feel about McCord.
That's my guy, right? McCord's my guy. 5-star, 6'3", 215, wide shoulder frame. He got good height and size, strong arm, accurate. My man got RPMs. He spins that ball nice, right? He's poised under pressure. Great leadership qualities. He's got a high football IQ. He can throw the 15-yard out, throw to the far hash, right? He can throw over the linebackers. He's got that C.J. Stroud where we can put the ball in intermediate routes over the linebacker into a keyhole. He can do that, right? We haven't been able to see it, but he can do it. He moves in the pocket. He can extend plays. He got that swag to him. Going into Ohio State, they had already projected him to be a multiple starter at a top 15 program and an early first-round draft pick.
We're not
before he even put a helmet on.
Well, hold on. Right? What did you say he did? He threw over a defender into a keyhole?
Into a keyhole, right over the linebacker.
You know it's different, dog. He's different, dog. My bad, bro. Like, you on one today, bro.
It's been a while, so I'm on it, you know. Then his competition is Mr. Devin Brown. 6'2", 196. He's a 4-star, long, got that wiry frame. But he got that frame where he can add muscle mass.
Right,
like it's not like it won't be forced on, right? He carries the 190 well, but you can see that he can fill it out with a little bit of muscle and continue to fill it out. So he's a dynamic quarterback. He's a two-sport player. Played basketball and football in high school, right? Shows good arm length. He's got that pop on the ball like our guy Tyson Bagent had at the Senior Bowl. He throws that ball and you hit a pop in receiver's hands. It ain't all about them gloves. That's some force behind the ball. He flashes his ability to make off-platform throws without losing any zip on the ball. So when I make a roll out, throw off one leg, there's still a pop there. It all stays the same. He distributes on all levels of the field. He looks extremely comfortable rolling out. It's not forced. It's not like, oh, man, I got to go. He's like, I got this. Roll out. Boom, I see my man, my tight end's crossing. We got him. He plays good timing. He anticipates well over the middle of the field. And he's mechanically sound. He got a quick release. So everybody got positives. But when I read as a senior in high school, they're projecting you to be an early round NFL draft pick, I'm locked in. Okay? You're my guy. There's a reason why they call him that. Right? There's a reason why they say you can make all the throws. Right? They're not saying in Devin Brown's scouting report that he can make all the throws. You can break down Kyle McCord's scouting report on any way you want to go, 24/7, on 3, max preps, Draft Network. It don't matter. It says he can make a throw anywhere on the field. All right? It's saying that he got an accurate arm on the run. It's saying my boy can put, he can put it in a mouse hole if you want him to. So my dude got the skills to pay the bills. Will he get his opportunity is the question.
I think we just watched Nino have one of those Bob Costas moments where it is a few gentlemen in this realm that can do what he just did. So I'm going to clap it up for him in live TV because that is broadcasting. It ain't even 1-on-1. It's 10,000 in one, bro. You just not getting that everywhere. So let's talk about it. So if we go back a couple years ago, right?
Yep.
Remember the C.J. Stroud, Quinn Ewers quarterback battle? Yeah. Right. Listen, the best man won.
That wasn't a battle.
The best man won the job. But think about it though. Coming out of high school, the hype that Quinn Ewers had, it was like, yo, he can possibly get C.J. Stroud for this job. I said that to say that the best man will win this job. It will be no favoritism. It ain't gonna be what Ryan Day's not who the team likes. He's gonna look. Whoever is the best quarterback will win this job, and that's why I feel like we gotta go Cal. It's a couple of them you about to talk about that I'm about to get mad about, but I'm ready.
I'm gonna go talk about our guy because I just want to talk about him before I get wicked with any other team. Let's go talk about Tennessee.
I knew you was going there, man.
I had to. I tried to stay away. I was gonna not because everybody knows where my favoritism lies to. But I went and dove in to Joey Milton a little bit more.
Okay.
And then I get less and less enthused the more I dive in. They gave you the keys to the Cadillac in Michigan, and you crashed.
Oh yeah.
3 years you were at Michigan, and you could not take over the role till the third season. And you you were going down the highway at 65, and you just said, "Jesus, take the wheel." Boom, right up the median, and then you had to go somewhere else. So you decided to go to Tennessee, where you thought you were the dude. They told you take that big arm, sit in the pocket, take a hit, body frame, that 6'5", 245 frame, and you're gonna go to Tennessee and you're gonna be the dude. But what happened? This gentleman from Virginia Tech said, "Not today." Hendon Hooker came and blew my man out the water, so he redshirted. Bro, you just came from 3 years in Michigan to a guy who was transferring from Virginia Tech, and you had the red shirt? Bruh. And you're going to try to tell me that the Hawaiian Soki fame, Nico Iamaleava, is not coming for your neck or your job? Boy, he's bigger than you. He's 6'6", 200 pounds. He's 6'6" at 18 years old. We just watched Zay Flowers put on 17 pounds of muscle in 35 days. You don't think this man's going to put on 25 pounds of muscle by week 3? My man going to be close to the same weight by the end of the season. But my man can make any throw on the field with his eyes closed, okay? My man's comfortable throwing on any platform. He can roll out with the best of them. He's silky smooth. He like smooth peanut butter coming out the pocket. You ain't touching him. And he got rapidly improving football IQ and toughness. My man's a grown leader. There ain't nothing in his background and his skeletons in his closet that you can find. This dude is A1. They flew him in. Hold up. Sit down for a second. Let me take a breather. They flew him in to practice for the bowl game in pads and uniform when he had just enrolled at school. But if you do not think that that is a sign or a reason, you're crazy. Milton's lucky if he got 4 weeks as a starter.
I don't think there's a spring game I'm more excited for than this Tennessee spring game. That's just it. Like, when you think about, you know, it's like you're at a job, you know, somebody is hired, and they're hired in your field. Like, they hired in what you do. It almost feels like they're coming to take your job. Like, so, you know, you're going to tighten up, do everything you got to do to make sure that that person don't take your job. And will Milton be a part? Will he be a part of the Bay transfer portal?
No, because they're gonna let him stop. They're gonna let him stop. They're gonna give him.
They're gonna let him stop, no matter what.
Pull it. Yes.
No matter what Nico does, it's not
listen,
happening.
Nico is gonna set the world on fire in the spring games, then in camp, and it's gonna be the buzz.
Mm-hmm.
But Heupel's not stupid, right? He's not stupid.
He's a quarterback too.
He knows the deal. This is what these teams do. You got to keep the seniors there. Make sure that they don't just bounce on you and you're left with the freshmen and nobody else. Right? Yeah, Joe, you're the starter. In the back of his head, he's like, you got 3 weeks, bro. You mess up, I'm pulling you. You know what I mean? Like, and then at that point, where's he going? To the bench? That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, hopefully we get to see Nico early in mop-up duty. If this is the case, you know, I never want anybody to get injured, but he is going
There's no Cedric Tillman. There's no save my behind Jalen Hyatt.
And no Alex Golish.
You better be ready because I haven't seen you be ready yet.
That is interesting.
You want to go another one?
Yeah, let's do one more, and then we talk about Julian Lewis and get on out of here.
All right. You want to go Bama or you want to go Penn State? Let's go Bama.
Let's go Bama. Yeah, we talked about Bryce Young. We got to go.
All right.
Go Bama.
So the Tide, they're in another one of these crazy QB battles, right? Which you don't think when it comes to Alabama. These guys just putting out a ex-Heisman. He's going to go top in the draft, and we saw a little glimpse of what his backup could be.
Mm-hmm.
He was mostly running for his life, but that was Jalen Milroe, and he's going against Ty Simpson. Jalen Milroe, 6'2", 201 pounds, right? He's impressively built for a QB. Like, his size and frame, like, the build he has, you can see that he's a 19-year-old kid. You can see him filling out. He got a frame that's kind of scary. He could be 6'3", 6'4", like 235 back there, and a solid dude. You get hit by that guy, you better watch out, right? But he's definitely your true dual threat. I think his first option is to run, and second option is to throw. But he has necessary tools as a passer and a runner, right? His athleticism bears out in both departments. He's got a live arm. It flashes it here and there, but the velocity over the middle field and the short intermediate passing game is great. A small sample size, 31 attempts, 263 yards, 1 touchdown. 31 attempts, 263 yards, rushing, 1 touchdown. He went 31 for 53, 297 yards, 58.5%. 5 touchdowns, 3 picks. The numbers are too close. Like, all right, so you throw a touchdown, then you throw a pick, and then you throw 2 touchdowns, then you throw a pick. Like, But like I said, it was a small sample size. The other gentleman, I don't think he fits the scheme for them. I'm kind of surprised he's still there. That's Ty Simpson, 6'2", 185 pounds. He is predominantly a pocket passer, right? He comes from a spread, run-pass offensive scheme in high school. He's got good foot quickness and body quickness in the pocket, and he shows natural ability to extend plays with his feet outside the pocket. But he ain't running for 25 yards, right? He ain't taking it. He ain't running like Will Levis. It's not. He doesn't have it in his repertoire. He plays a good field, and his instincts as a passer and keeping his eyes downfield are great. And he appears to have a clean and abbreviated throw motion. He discriminates the ability to get the ball out quick, which is great, especially as a young guy. And he can throw from any angle on the field. But he stays in the pocket. He ain't mobile, right? Do you see how you're going to go from they call a mobile quarterback and Bryce Young
here we go
to a statue? But you can't do that. So that's why I feel Milroe. Bro, Milroe is way more mobile than Bryce Young. I think he's going to be the dude.
Does Saban trust him? That's what it comes down to. Does Saban trust him?
Saban trusted him enough for 2 games last year, right? Simpson was there. The second game, when Milroe owned all he could do was run, if he didn't trust him enough, Simpson was coming in the game, right? He didn't. Didn't even put his helmet on. Okay? The strap never got tight, and the thing sat, like, up here. Like, he's going to have to just be a statue in the pocket, to be that dude that's an oak tree out there, for everybody to just line up and drill. You better be elite at what you do, not average.
What's your prediction?
My real prediction?
Yeah.
My heart of hearts?
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe's going to win it in camp, but I think one of the gentlemen from Georgia is going to end up transferring to Alabama.
We need to clip that. 52 minutes. 55 seconds. Nino makes a crystal ball prediction live. All right,
What I do.
Let's talk about this Julian Lewis situation, and we're gonna
The
get
$1 million man?
Yeah.
The $1 million 14-year-old, I should say?
Yeah.
6'1", 170 pounds at 14.
14 years old.
He's consensus QB1 of the 2026 class at 14 years old. As a freshman in high school, he threw for 4,100 yards, 48 touchdowns, 12 picks in
48
15
touchdowns?
games.
Varsity.
48. 12 picks in 15 games as a freshman.
Damn.
Okay?
I can't think of another quarterback who had like that. Those lost the expectations. I remember Jimmy. I mean, of course, different times. I remember Jimmy Clausen had like, when he was
Jimmy Clausen?
Yeah. When he was 14, you remember the story ESPN did on
he
him?
threw like 36 touchdowns or something like that. It
was a lot. It was a lot lower, but it was just like for the time, like ESPN. I see something on Jimmy Clausen on TV when he was like 14 years old, bro. Like, that's crazy, but he still ain't put up those type of numbers.
Right. So he's from Moon. I know you're in there. This is probably close to you. Carrollton, Georgia, right? That's where he's from. He's already considered a 5-star. He ain't even got room to go up. He only 14 years old.
Already a 5-star. You said he's 6'1", 170 already?
At 14.
14 years old.
6'1", 170. He got a USC visit scheduled for April 8th.
Well,
but the whole reason why I got him on here, I'm going to get to in a second. In the state finals, he threw for 531 yards against Mill Creek. A freshman.
What?
531 yards in a state final game against Mill Creek. I can only imagine what's going to happen. Here's the deal. They're throwing bags at him. NIL, right? He got offered a clean mill. But in Georgia, they don't allow NIL for high school kids.
Oh, that's right.
So he can't take the deal.
Why don't he transfer?
And that is why I have him on the docket. You can't have that talent. You can't put up those numbers. You can't have that size with so much growth to go. You can't have schools in the Pac-12 already giving you visits as a freshman, and you're going to stay home.
No.
It's not going to happen. No. But this is a name that everybody, this is Arch Manning. This is the buzz right here. Julian Lewis is the buzz for the 2026 class like Arch Manning was for the 2023 class.
If you're his parents, what do you tell him to do?
I'm his parents. I'm hiring someone that's got the most level head that I know. It's been in this game the longest time, and I can trust. I don't know a dude like that. I'm not in this league, but that's and I'm telling Julian, go with your heart. It's not about the money. If your talent level continues, the money's going to be there when you make it to Georgia, Bama, or the NFL. Don't let the money sway you at 14. Go somewhere where they're going to showcase your talents.
Nino, this has been a great episode. I can't wait to go live tomorrow. Went live a little bit later than usual. Shout out to Matt. Shout out to Bill for their first live video recording episode of Draft Nerds. It's been a hell of a week. It's been a hell of a time. We got to get you guys updated with the TV Guide in the community tab. Make sure y'all are paying attention to the community tab. I'm going to have more questions and stuff like that for y'all. Nino, man, this guy does everything. Make sure you guys check him out over on Told Us the Titles. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Told Us the Title. Also, don't forget that this show is brought to you by BigfootsWorld.com. Make sure you enter in CFB Nation and you get that 5% discount code.
Get that deal.
We're back at you tomorrow. Make sure you guys check out them RFL streams. Make sure you check out Sooner Shakedown coming to you Wednesday. Also, is it Hawks Nest? Hawkeye's Next?
I think it's the Hawks Nest, I believe
the Hawks Nest
coming soon.
by D Now. Yeah, we going to push that back because he's out there at the Combine now. So we're going to do that March 8th.
Black Shirts Breakdown, baby.
Hey, we had an episode today. Nino went crazy per usual. We got a lot of great content for you guys. Make sure you check it out. As I always like to say, do something nice that somebody normally wouldn't do. Always pay it forward. Peace and love. Peace and blessings. And until next time, remember, Nino is the mayor, bro. And he just gave y'all a classic episode, man. Truly appreciate him. Moon, man, you been with me, man, in the green room for about 5 hours, bro. I know you tired, bro. Thanks for holding it down per usual, man. 1.